The Queen Elizabeth effect in a dementia unit is profound. Many of the dementia residents are in their early 90s, so they're just a few years younger than the Queen, and they can remember Queen Elizabeth at 21 in Cape Town saying, "I declare before you all that my whole life shall be devoted to your service." That made a really big impact on the dementia residents. New Zealand being part of the Commonwealth, they felt very much that she was part of their family and guiding her all her 70 years of reign right throughout, their lives that had Queen Elizabeth with them. And also that speech 1940 in the Blitz, when she was only 14 years old, saying, "And when peace comes, remember, it will be for us, the children of today, to make the world of tomorrow a better and happier place." So her words, her Christmas messages, her presence is so impacting on dementia residents. She totally is their guiding light. And of course, the wonderful thing about Queen Elizabeth II and the royal family at large, but particularly Elizabeth and of course Prince Philip, and to a certain extent Princess Margaret, Queen Anne and King Charles now, is that they get reminded of these personalities, and the Queen especially, each week if they receive Women's Day and Women's Weekly, old magazines, new magazines, they all have the royal family in it. And those wonderful commemoration magazines that come out of the coronation and her wedding, beautiful, big, glossy, colourful magazines of the Queen, the dementia residents adore it. It just takes them right back to that time after the war, for example, soon after the war when she got married. That was like such an enormous event in the lives of the dementia residents, and they all wanted to have a wedding dress like hers, if at all possible. So everything that she did, the way the children dressed, the way they dressed as children, often in kilts and knitted cardigans. Elizabeth and Margaret used to have those knitted cardigans buttoned at the front with little kilts. And so everyone in New Zealand was wearing knitted cardigans and kilts, Scottish kilts, looking like they're from Scotland when we're in New Zealand, because Elizabeth and Margaret were wearing them. And if you got Women's Weekly or Australian Weekly, there was Elizabeth and Margaret in their lovely little cardigans and kilts, and even the recipe of how to, not the recipe, but the pattern of how to knit the cardigans and how to sew the clothes that they wore was all in there. All the patterns were there so that all the little children in New Zealand and Australia were running around in clothes looking like Elizabeth and Margaret. It was, so impacting. So now that the dementia residents in their 90s, still those clear memories of when they were younger, and the Queen all through, and her marvellous reign, 70 years of consistent, persevering, committed service to the realm and the Commonwealth, and being part of the Commonwealth, and all the joys and all the tribulations and the trials going through Lady Diana, and what happened with her and Charles, and now him being crowned king. It's exciting. It's really exciting. Looking at the coronation of Charles was really exciting, and all the pageantry, beautiful black horses shining and gleaming, the gold carriage. You couldn't get a better occasion in New Zealand than that. And so the dementia residents are able, a bit like David Attenborough, the outside-in effect. They can sit there and enjoy the coronation of Charles just the same, even better than if they were there, because they get the close-up photography, all the regalia, the expression. Fantastic. So with the coronation, for many dementia residents, with Queen Elizabeth's coronation, many dementia residents, that was the first time that they'd really seen television, a lot of them, because a big effort actually it was Prince Philip went to a lot of effort to make sure that the coronation was televised. And as a result of that, we had it televised here in New Zealand, but only a rare household had a television at that time, at the time of the coronation. So she was revered from that point on. And actually after that point, because of the coronation and being able to see the Queen on TV, a lot of people did get TV after that point. But before that, it was a very barren island in terms of television access and people watching it. It was more radios and Aunt Daisy we had in those days, not the television. But since then, of course, everything's changed. So because of the Queen's effect being so impacting, and of course she's head of the Anglican Church, which helps a lot because dementia residents don't get to go to church. There's no church facilities in dementia units, and they rarely get to go to church services. So the Queen really is like their goddess in a sense. And she emulates all those powerful, beautiful virtues of perseverance and patience and sacrifice and, regard for everyone, no matter who the people are that she's serving or seeing. And her patience in terms of listening to so many monotonous speeches, never getting bored, never getting uptight. Through all the procedure, through all the ceremony, she's calm and committed. And so having seen and observed and witnessed and feeling a part of the presence of the Queen for 70 years, those virtues can't help but rub off on you. And they have very much in a dementia facility rubbed off on the dementia residents. They still carry those virtues with them, and it does help them to be able to apply that perseverance and patience to be able to live in a dementia unit. And they express it by saying, when there's a bit of a disturbance at the dementia unit, they express it by saying, I'm trying hard, I'm trying to be patient, I'm doing my best, I'm trying hard. So that's the commitment and effort they made to be able to keep level and steady and on an even pace in a dementia unit, even though so much is going on around them. And the Queen helps with that. In fact, at one workshop we had, there were two pictures of the Queen that the dementia residents loved the most. The one of her and Prince Philip when she was with the coronation, them standing side by side at the coronation, her with all the regalia on and the marvellous crown. And the other picture they liked was the one of the family on the lawn in front of Balmoral Castle in Scotland. So these two pictures I got blown up actually to a nice, good big size, and asked the dementia residents if they would like either of those pictures in their room. They all wanted a picture. They chose their favourite picture. So I went around and blue tacked the picture of the Queen in a place that they could easily see, either above their bed they wanted it, or from their seat where they used to sit, eye level straight ahead. And so the picture of the Queen was there. Really, she gave, many times I would go into a dementia resident's room and I'd just see them sitting in the chair looking at the Queen and absorbing her power and her virtue to be able to give them solace and strength for being in such a difficult situation in a dementia unit and keep level because of her attainment and them absorbing that and imbibing. So I've written these two books, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit, on Amazon, soft copy, hard copy and ebooks. Thank you for all your viewing and your likes and your subscriptions. Please subscribe if you're watching and interested in this channel, and pass on links to others, which I know you're doing, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting this channel on behalf of these wonderful dementia residents in these dementia units. Thank you.